I think for me, the first thing that was really striking is when you engage in a coaching conversation, it's a real kind of safe space where there's no judgment, there's no you don't have any fear of saying the wrong thing. So there's like a third person there, whether that's the inner gremlin or the inner roommate. There's just someone there kind of telling you, oh, should you be doing this? Or no, this is, you shouldn't be thinking about this, or this is a wrong solution. There's something there that's kind of constantly criticizing.
And how is coaching transforming that?
Well, I think a lot. But firstly, I think coaches they're incredible listeners. So I'm a firm believer that quality listening and quality attention leads to quality thinking. So right now, your high attentiveness, your great listening is actually improving my thought process, because I know that there's someone out there who is actively listening to what I'm saying, and it's actually improving the way that I put my thoughts together. Whereas if you're in a regular conversation with your maybe family member or a friend who isn't a coach, they often don't have that quality, and you feel neglected, and that can hinder your ability to come up with options or solutions. So
Mhm.
it's funny because when in coaching, a lot of people think, oh, listening is, it's like a basic soft skill. It's like really easy. Anyone can do it. But actually,
It's not.
no, it's exactly that, it's that and questions which make coaching so powerful. And you don't get very many people who know how to listen. And it's those two things that you can really notice when you're in a coaching session, the kind of the questions and the listening. I think it's the simple and short questions that help the most. When they say, for example, like, what else comes to mind, or give me another thought, or keep going, because that's when you're really digging deeper yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's not that they're leading you on to a different thought; they're just asking you to look a little closer. And it's almost like we
Yeah.
need someone to kind of push us to go beyond our comfort zone, go into our stretch zone, and think about something that maybe we don't really want to think about right now.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's easy to get kind of lost in your own thinking, even with coaches who are aware of that, the ways that you can, I guess, become frustrated with yourself. But having that coach, having that external source, like you say, it's almost like they give you a kind of scaffolding, right? They kind of build you up step by step, and they can see things objectively. I kind of see it as we all set our own kind of walls. We all live in our own internal rooms where we can't see what's beyond the walls, but those walls are just our assumptions.
What I notice is that, when addressing everything at the same time, this is the reason that causes the stress and the anxiety because you don't know what to do with all this stuff in the same time,
Exactly, yeah.
right? Whereas when you just like have one point of attention, it becomes so much easier to move ahead because our brains cannot do multiple things in the same time. We cannot
Mm.
multitask. It's kind of
No,
a
yeah.
biological thing. So where I think like coaching has a huge power is by just helping the person to focus the attention on just one point after one point. And like you were saying, the questioning process and the listening process helps people, build such a more, such an efficient process kind of.
Yeah. I love what you said there that really comforted me there, or it would comfort me as a student. You said it's time for yourself, right? It's just time for you to kind of ponder over these thoughts. It's like a container for your thoughts, almost like a journal, but a journal that could speak back to you and
Exactly.
reflect back to you.
Building a technology to address, I mean, actually to achieve that. How comfortable are you with, the idea of having a technology that can help you do that, like in a very inexpensive way, anytime you want, right, in your day? How are you as a student, like, how comfortable are you with this idea?
Well, it would just revolutionize everything, wouldn't it? Because the problem now with coaching is that there's only so many of us. We can't coach everybody. It's incredibly exhausting. This listening takes a lot of energy. And if you had a way to get people to self-coach each other, I mean, that is the goal of coaching, really. You don't want someone to keep coming back to you after 10 years or for 10 years have to be coaching someone. You want people to be able to do this for themselves and only come back in emergencies, let's say. But if you had a technology like that, that could maybe self-coaching, maybe there's something beyond self-coaching, a term that is more appropriate. But at the moment, I'll call it self-coaching. I think if you had something that could just give you the right question at the right time, which gets you onto the right thought process, it's like the first step to a better future. And then from there, you can go on to physical coaching, but it's that first building block, and you can reach thousands of students of that, and it just makes it more accessible.
Let's imagine 200 million students self-coach. What do you think a better future would look like?
I think I think there's a lot of things there related to, probably first of all related to career. I know when I was at university, I had no idea what I wanted to do. In fact, career advisors would instruct me rather than actually get to know me. And I never felt like I was being understood as a person in like career advisory sessions. It just felt like I was being pushed towards a certain direction. And with self coaching, those 200 million would just be able to get a bit more clarity on where it is they're going. Are they actually happy with where they are right now? And for those students, I wouldn't want any one of those students going into a job that they don't feel satisfied doing, because it just creates so much kind of inner turmoil and disturbance.
I see a gap in between the behavior, the attitude, the language, the representation that we are putting in the minds of students that they have to find. It's better if they find a job that is satisfying, but we basically focus their attention on a job that needs to be satisfying.
Hmm.
Where when we talk about helping students to figure out, like you're just speaking about, because you were saying without coaching, I would not have made that change. So if you made that change, how satisfied are you for having made that change? And what does it mean for your future?
I think I had a thought just before that. I think what you're describing there, it sounds like a kind of tunnel vision, as in students are only very narrowly looking
Yeah.
at getting a job that they really want, but they're missing all the ideas that are lurking around the corner that may be even more satisfying without even knowing it. And without coaching, you can't, it's very difficult to do that by yourself, to find those ideas, because we are just biased, right? We are biased.
How satisfied are you with the change you've made, with your new thoughts and your new potential journey? How satisfied are you?
I think so. You never know where a change is going to take you, right? So I could be doing my sustainability jobs. Maybe there's a Max in a parallel universe that's doing that right now. Maybe he's at a big company earning more money than I'm earning right now, which is nothing. But I don't believe that he's happier than me right now or as satisfied. Or if I asked him, okay, in 10 years' time, where do you see yourself? I don't think he could answer that. Whereas I could give a kind of vision of where I see myself. I would have never really found that, because before I was kind of living the dreams of other people. I was doing what society wanted of me, or I was doing what universities wanted of me. I felt like you were being pushed towards a certain career. They kind of wanted to keep their own prestige, as in having a lot of people in finance doing very high paid jobs. And that was kind of influencing me as a person, but those were not my values. So there was a distortion there. Coaching has to be more accessible. I never knew about coaching when I was at university. You know, if I had stress, I would go to an advisor or like an academic advisor, but they would have absolutely no knowledge in coaching or anything related to psychology. They could never help me in those issues. And I think for those students, it's important for them to have the right kind of support, the kind of support that's being neglected right now. At universities, I just wish they had this kind of coaching, self-coaching tool. It's just as important as study skills. Without it, you can't effectively think.
There are so many different challenges on a student journey. We start school, maybe the first months is kind of stressful because we have to settle down, we have to organize ourselves, we have to get to know people, we have to face our own self-confidence challenge, communication challenges. It's just, everything that makes us so unique and so good, but we have to deal with that in a way. It's a challenge, right? So that's the beginning of the school, like, back to school kind of hashtag. Uh, and then we have to start getting into group projects. And so we have to manage conflict and learn together with different ideas. And then we start kind of maybe sometimes messing up with each other. And then we have exams, and then we have to find a job. So basically, we go from obstacle to obstacle that we may not see it, or maybe universities or education is not helping us to see it this way, but we potentially move from opportunities to opportunities, right? Because the opportunity of starting school is to build up our communication and confidence and social skills. And then when we move to group work, it's building up our competences for collaboration, again, communication, or even, it's like emotional intelligence with others, empathy. And then if we move to exams, it's about self-organization and planning. And then if we move to job, is about personal vision, again, self-confidence, again, communication. So in a way, it's like when I observe students and I work with them, I'm seeing like how education and university, like the journey is a path of, one obstacle to one obstacle. And what if we were changing that to one opportunity to one opportunity to one opportunity for just being more satisfied about ourselves as students, right?
Exactly. It's more open as well then, because you say this path, there's a real kind of linearity there. As in, you're kind of taught, oh, you got to go to school, then you go to university, then you get married or get a job. That linearity is so restricting. It's something that I think previous generations have imposed on us new generations. It's as a way of living, but we're living in a completely new age, as you know, with technology and digitalization. And I don't think, though this is a probably different topic, but I don't think the education system is equipped to really help those students find themselves. It's almost like it's an education system that's built on the past.
As a student who discovered the benefits of coaching, what's your message to the other students?
I think for me, it would be a question. I think I would ask, what are you moving towards right now? And do you think this path is empowering you? I think that's what I would ask. I like that word empowering, not right or wrong or high income or high status, but is it filling you? Is it giving you energy, or is it just draining you? So what you're doing right now, do you see yourself doing this in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? Where are you heading? Where are you going?